To be honest, my relationship had more red flags than a Chinese parade. You don't share your vulnerabilities with the devil, because they will use that to get you stuck even more in the relationship. They will use that to manipulate you. They will use that to hurt you even more. Our perception of relationships are often distorted by movies, by Disney shows, by Netflix shows, by reality shows, by what we see on social media. Do not lean on your own understanding, because we might think someone is so nice, the nicest person we've ever met. But remember, the devil could be really nice too. We might even believe this person is the one, but the reality is they only feel familiar because they remind us of our chaotic childhood. We might even think we're feeling butterflies, but in reality we're feeling anxiety. People are not always how they seem. I feel like texting, these heart emojis, dating apps, and first impressions could be very deceiving. Not everyone has good intentions, and that charm, compliments, and red flags can be easily overlooked. In the relationship that I was in, because I was like so confused, I tried to figure it out myself. So like I would do some Googling, and I learned about ADHD. So I thought maybe my partner had ADHD, that's why there's so much confusion, and I gave him a lot of benefit of the doubt. Turns out like he was a narcissist, like a narcissist. Me trying to figure it out led me further away from the truth, hurting myself because I kept giving benefit of the doubt. And another thing is I would read relationship books, and what I didn't know is that relationship books are for people who are mentally healthy and willing to grow, with a growth mindset. If you don't have a growth mindset, if you have a fixed mindset, or if you have, some mental issues going on, communication doesn't work. And it's almost like trying to communicate to someone who's schizophrenic. Like, it's nobody's fault that your communication is not going through. So always seek guidance from God for discernment and to help you and prevent you from being deceived. Let God guide you. That's because we don't know. Literally, sometimes we think we know, and like 100%, like this is the way, like the sky is blue, like I know this person is the one. 2 years later, they're not. And we're like, what did I not see? And that's because we're humans. We have flaws. We have biases. We have confirmation bias. We see things we want. We don't see people as who they are. We see them how we want them to be. We see them who we think we are. Most of the time, we don't even see them. We're just living in our heads, living in our fantasies, assuming they are a certain way. And that's why we cannot lean on our own understanding. There's no way we can know who this person is through our own understanding. So that's why in every step of the process, to protect yourself from a toxic relationship, do not lean on your own understanding. You cannot pick out a toxic person from a crowd. You can even psychologists, human behaviorists who study these things cannot do that, because they're so good. And not that they're good at hiding, but you just can't. You don't know what toxic is. I finally understand why people who get into one toxic relationship get into another toxic relationship. Like being too nice, being too caring, too kind, sacrificing yourself for other people, constantly relying on someone for validation and our attention, not seeing the truth and letting emotions blur your sight and the rose-colored glasses, like that's all toxic. So unless you know that, you're just going to repeat the same things into the next relationship. Maybe we know for example, maybe we know what a narcissist is. We think it's an egoic person like Donald Trump. But no, have you heard about covert narcissists? How they're actually some of the sweetest, kindest people ever. But when the mask falls off, they are like a totally another person. Do you know what a sociopath is? Do you think they just walk around letting you know that they murdered someone? No, these people, they look like the nicest people, the kindest people out there. In fact, they are probably the nicest people you've ever met. And probably no one has ever treated you nicer. And see, these are things there's no way you would know unless it's through experience. So that's why you don't lean on your own understanding in every step of the process. Even when you're deciding to download a dating app, sometimes we feel like this is a great idea. And then the app turns out to be addicting, turns out to be so stupid based on vanity. Like, how am I gonna know who you are based on what movie you like? I want to know, like, how do you react when you're in Costco on a Sunday when it's busy? Like, I want to know how you manage stress. And like, people don't talk about this stuff, and it's like weird to talk about it because you're ruining the fun of dating. But like, dating is not like a fun thing to do. It's not something you throw around. It's a serious thing. When you are involving yourself with another person, it's going to impact you mentally, and it could spiritually kill you. And when you get sucked into a relationship, you are so like into the relationship sometimes that you don't know what's going on. So it's serious business. Like, you don't just get into a relationship willy-nilly and, you know, expect you can get out anytime. That's not how the laws of the universe works. You don't get out anytime. Even if you want to get out, you cannot get out. You need God's help to get out. It's serious business, and it's no joke. It's literally like quicksand. You get in and it feels like it's impossible to get out because you don't understand the laws of the universe. You don't understand the laws of cognitive dissonance. You don't understand how the mind gets hooked onto, you know, if pleasure and pain is from the same source, if a person really makes you feel good but also makes you feel pain, it becomes an addicting. And it's not up to you. It's the laws of the universe. That's just how the mind works. And that's why in the Bible it tells you to avoid sin. Both sins are all about running away from pain or chasing pleasure. And that manifests as thoughts in your mind. So even when you leave a relationship, you'll notice that you still have thoughts about this person. It's literally not up to you. You don't get to choose what thoughts you want in your mind. That's why you don't sin. When you sin, the byproduct are the thoughts. And when you have these thoughts occupying your brain, you can't think clearly. You can't achieve your goals. You cannot, do what you want. You can't be within the presence of God. And during the relationship, don't lean on your own understanding. Like, if there's any sort of confusion, we try to figure it out. We try to go on Reddit, Google, ChatGPT, like, what's going on in our relationship. And that's just dangerous. A little bit of knowledge can be very dangerous because you make assumptions and it's not really the truth and will lead you further away from the truth. One of the most dangerous things I've learned that really hurt me so bad was to be vulnerable. So obviously, self-help books, everyone's like, be vulnerable, be yourself, share your emotions, communicate your emotions. But you don't do that if you're with a narcissist or if you're with a sociopath. And always remember, if you ever feel confusion, you feel doubts, or you just don't know what to do in your relationship, always surrender and pray to God about it so He could bring you peace and clarity.